Just to describe the agenda, at a broad level, I would like to share with you the typical governance challenges we face as system integrators when providing solutions to our enterprise customers. The specific focus of my talk on cloud computing. As cloud computing adoption is increasing at a rapid rate and more applications are developed specifically for the cloud, it's important for enterprises to realize the significance and need for good application architecture. Towards the end of the presentation, I'll walk you through two scenarios where Secure Span Gateway is used as a component in a full application architecture. Okay. Getting into the details, let us now look at top 3 SOA governance challenges enterprises typically face. First challenge, securely exposing in-house applications over the internet. Large enterprises usually depend on several third-party organizations for their day-to-day business needs. There is a compelling need for such organizations to expose their IT assets such as SOA platforms, integration hubs, so on and so forth, securely over the internet. Perimeter security measures such as firewalls and physical security are just not adequate. There is certainly a need for specialized governance products such as Secure Span Gateway that deals with all XML related threats ranging from simple message size attacks to schema injection and so on. Now moving on to the second challenge, the need for high level of granularity in defining security policies. In a SOA environment with lot of services and service operations, it's often a requirement to allow controlled access at various granularity levels such as at an operation level, time of the day, rate of request, so on and so forth. To address this challenge, we certainly need a dedicated governance solution such as Secure Span. Okay, the third challenge, and at a broader sense, managing the service capacity. As services are highly reused, organizations naturally are hit with capacity issues. The service performance degrades and SLAs are violated, which is where cloud computing comes to the rescue, by allowing services to dynamically scale up and down as the demand increases. This phenomenon is also called as on-demand scalability or elasticity. In cloud computing, enterprises choose to deploy applications either on a public cloud or a private cloud. Okay. If they are too much worried about security, a private cloud comes to the rescue. Okay. From our system integration experience, we have seen that Layer 7 Secure Span Gateway addresses security challenges effectively in both traditional SOA environment and public-private cloud deployments. Okay, in the next couple of slides, let's see how. As I mentioned before, it's important for enterprises to realize the significance and need for good application architecture. To describe the problem, today we have dozen cloud providers as shown in the slide. The offering from each provider is significantly different. It's completely up to the enterprise to find out how the offerings make sense in shaping up the final application architecture. To address this situation, Torry as a system integrator helps enterprises to choose the right provider considering the functional and non-functional requirements. With the knowledge of each provider's capability, its pros and cons, we help enterprises with tasks shown in the bullets ranging from choosing data store mechanisms to defining the integration strategy. Moving on to the next slide. This slide shows a specific example with Amazon Web Services. Amazon offers several cloud computing components as building blocks such as EC2, S3, SQS, etc. These building blocks individually serve a particular purpose, but understanding how each building block fits into the full architecture is something that enterprises are left with doing it themselves. Moreover, depending on the type of provider, cloud providers do not offer professional services to deliver an end-to-end cloud-based solution. Okay. So moving on to the next slide. This is where Torry helps in understanding functional, non-functional requirements and assembling the building blocks to deliver a complete cloud-based solution as shown in this diagram. The series of steps typically involved in delivering a full solution ranges from analyzing functional and non-functional requirements, fitting the building blocks to address each aspect of the architecture such as disaster recovery, automatic scalability, and so on. I would not spend too much time on explaining the architecture in detail because the assumption here is knowledge of Amazon EC2 components in detail. But inherently it shows that this architecture addresses disaster recovery, it addresses data resilience, it addresses faster content delivery by carefully assembling the building blocks with all these components as shown in this diagram. Moving on to the next slide. In this diagram, we show you how virtual secure span is set up in a private cloud scenario. Before we get into the details, this diagram shows a bird's eye view of the private cloud topology. In this example, we use an open source stack called Eucalyptus, which has these two critical components called Cloud Controller and a Node Controller. A Cloud Controller is an administrative component that manages one or more node controllers. A node controller is managed by Cloud Controller to spawn virtual instances on demand. In this diagram, we zoom into a node controller to show further details. Within a node controller, a virtual secure span appliance is installed in one of the virtual machines that secures the underlying applications deployed on other virtual machines. So that completes my presentation. Just to summarize, we have re-emphasized the importance of good application architecture and the role that a secure span appliance takes in application security in different deployment models.
That was an excellent job, Karthik. Yeah, no, thank you. And that was a really, really interesting presentation. Listen, unfortunately, we're out of time now, and I appreciate everybody bearing with us and sticking with us to the end. We don't quite have time for any questions right now, but I'm more than happy to take things offline. By all means, come and contact myself or Karthik. My email address is smorrison, S-M-O-R-R-I-S-O-N, @layer7tech.com. Layer 7 Tech spelled L-A-Y-E-R, the number 7, T-E-C-H, all one word. Thanks again for coming, and hope to see you soon.
Thank you.